One analyst says people who can't see each other in the pandemic are relying more on photos and videos on apps like Snapchat. The president of the Disneyland Resort is blasting Governor Newsom over the latest state guidelines that Disney believes are unfairly keeping the theme park shuttered. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
1 in 5 people in LA and Orange counties have already cast their ballots. How it will affect election night coming up in 90 seconds is 3:51.
Jerry Reynolds here, the Car Pro for my only certified Chevy dealer in Southern California, Rotolo Chevrolet. You'll see why when you visit their number one in the entire state of California. Mike Capozio, the general manager, is not only my friend, but a true professional committed to your service and satisfaction. They'll help you find new roads at Rotolo Chevrolet on South Highland in Fontana. Take the 210 freeway, exit Sierra. Connect direct with Mike at carprousa.com or their website, rotolo.com.
The news is constantly changing, and now there's an even better way to stay on top of the stories that matter to you. KNX1070.com. It's all new, more mobile friendly, with more KNX podcasts, more in-depth coverage, and more ways for you to stay on top of the story. Add KNX1070.com to your favorites and get push notifications for all the big stories around the clock from KNX 1070 News Radio and the all-new KNX1070.com. Depend on us.
Breathe in, breathe out. Keep those outside noises where they belong and make your home a sanctuary. Pella Lifestyle Series noise-reducing windows and patio doors offer options that reduce 52% more sound than single-pane windows. Call 877-98-PELLA or visit Pella.com/lifestyle to learn more.
At Stater Brothers Markets, we believe when it comes to feeding your family, you shouldn't have to pay more for great quality. That's why we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
Now through Tuesday, pick up the club pack size of Stater Brothers Classic Roast Coffee. Get 3 pounds for just $7.99. And try our Wide Awake flavored coffee creamers. Selected 32 fluid ounces are just $1.99.
Stater Brothers Market's family of brands. If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
Updating a crash on the 14 in Santa Clarita when we check the bad commutes in 2 minutes. Also, our eye in the sky will be over the 57 from Anaheim to Diamond Bar. It's 3:55.
Mail-in balloting, especially early mail-in balloting, may be changing the dynamic and how the returns are going to come in on election night.
The latest figures are showing 1 in 5 voters have already cast their ballots in L.A. and Orange County. Rob Korinke with the political consulting firm Grassroots Lab says odds are there'll be a record turnout with as many as 20% or more of all Democrats voting by mail, but that doesn't mean a crush of early voters will determine the election.
I do think that the change in election format makes it very difficult to estimate, and I think there's a lot of enthusiasm and excitement around how many people are early voting. But again, I would once again sort of caution there's a lot of ballots still out.
The early voting also doesn't mean a quicker outcome on the races either, because none of the votes can be counted before 8 p.m. on Election Day, which means in tight races, candidates may still be chewing their fingernails for several days after voting ends. Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
A piece by English street artist Banksy goes up for auction tomorrow. It recreates Claude Monet's The Water Lily Pond, adding pollution caused by illegal dumping. The oil painting called Show Me the Monet is expected to go for at least $4 million. Sotheby's European head of contemporary art, Alex Branchik, says it features Banksy's signature style.
He's really made that step from being a much-loved figure in popular culture to actually being one of the most desirable collectible artists of our times.
The painting depicts Monet's 1899 water lily pond with overturned shopping carts and orange traffic cones bobbing in the water.
NASA's done something cool. Spacecraft descending onto an asteroid, momentarily touching the surface to collect a handful of rubble to bring back to Earth. It was a first for the U.S. Only Japan has scored asteroid samples. The OSIRIS-REx spacecraft sent back confirmation today of its contact with the asteroid 200 million miles away. Could be a week before scientists know how much, though, if anything was grabbed, and whether another try is going to be needed.
Bad news for fans of Disneyland and other theme parks in California, but if you're looking to get waxed or tattooed, book that appointment. More at 4:03 after CBS News is 3:55.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s, brought to you by Amtrak. Denise Fondo.
East LA on the 10 eastbound. Before you reach the 710, we've got a big rig crash. They did make it to the shoulder, and I see slow traffic as you make your way out of Boyle Heights. Let's head to Scott with the 57 between Anaheim and Diamond Bar. Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
Not too bad out of Anaheim, but you do have a little slowing northbound from just about Lincoln, heading up to the 91. North of the 91, it picks up, but once you get to the Brea Canyon, it gets heavy again. Right around Diamond Bar Boulevard, up to and through the 60 merge. Have a car fire on the 55, Costa Mesa, the Jam Cam with Brian.
It's affecting your southbound drive now. Your Fair Drive on-ramp to the South 55. That's where it is, so the right lane's affected. So I see some slowing. South 55 just past the 73. Watch out for delays there. Your northbound side loads up at the 405, and that stays heavy, making your way up towards the 5 freeway. Denise.
We've got another problem in Baldwin Park on that 10. Busy today. 10 westbound side, right at Fraser Street. A couple of cars involved in this crash. Right shoulder of the road. Westbound side doesn't look bad as far as the backup's concerned. Amtrak's developing comprehensive safety measures, and that includes mandatory mask required policy, efficient air filtration, and more. And they're in partnership with Lysol. Amtrak's also leveraging experts to roll out comprehensive disinfection protocols at key touch points on board and in stations. Book whenever you're ready at Amtrak.com. Next report, 405 with more traffic reports. More often, I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
This kind of weather, 70s, 80s, as we go into tomorrow, and then some more cooling later on this week. Couple more days, but then we'll drop down some more.
Lots of backlash to the state keeping large theme parks closed, and the NTSB puts the blame on the owner of the Conception for the deadly boat fire. More in minutes. It's 3:57.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get new car replacement. So if your car is totaled, Farmers will pay to replace it with a new one of the same make and model. Like reuniting with an old friend with the added benefit of that new car smell. So it's really new car and new car smell replacement. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Optional coverage not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policy subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Will this election be your first time voting? We're excited for you. Los Angeles County has made it easy for you to get started online. Visit plan.lavote.net to register or to check your registration status so that you can organize your plan to vote. Stay safe by voting by mail and be a part of getting every vote in.
Hey, it's Mike Simpson here. Let's talk about your home, your sanctuary, because it feels that way this year, right? Health and safety on our minds. Makes sense. You want to take control of things. Let's take control of the water. We can do it with a Life Source Water whole house water system. It means you eliminate your need for bottled water because you're drinking, you're cooking, you're bathing in clean, fresh tasting water from any faucet in the house. With Life Source, there are no filters to change, no salts, no maintenance. Really, you just install it and then you forget about it. I've got one at home. It's one of the reasons I moved in. A Life Source system takes the chlorine out of the water, other chemicals too, also solves hard water problems, and all for less than always going out and buying the bottled water. You get this directly from the factory. No dealers, no middlemen. This company, 36 years in Southern California. All the products made in the USA. Call Life Source today for full service and full confidence in your water. It's 888-846-1945. 888-846-1945, or visit them at lifesourcewater.com. Life Source Water, taste and feel the difference.
The news you need now more than ever from the people you trust. Live from the Antillalone Barrows Smart Studio, Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. KNX, KRTH-FM HD2, Los Angeles. KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
Coming up, the new rules mean Disneyland and Universal won't be opening for quite a while.
Plus, the Dodgers getting ready for World Series Game 1. It starts in just over an hour.
These stories plus traffic every 10 minutes on the 5s. Coming up in just 3 minutes. It's after CBS covers the world, 4 o'clock.
Campaign 2020.
The president is now playing catch-up to Joe Biden.
COVID hospitalizations rising again.
Coronavirus hospitalizations have more than tripled.
The Justice Department goes after Google.
An antitrust response is necessary.
This is the CBS World News Roundup, late edition. I'm Peter King in Orlando. With just 2 weeks left until Election Day, and a record 33 million Americans have already cast their ballots. CBS's Ed O'Keefe on the push that the president is making.
After a narrow victory in Pennsylvania in 2016, the president is now playing catch-up to Joe Biden, trailing here and also down or tied in every major battleground state he won the first time around. In western Pennsylvania, where he rallies tonight, the loss of manufacturing jobs could especially hurt the president's chances.
Biden is shot. You know he's shot, right? He's gonzo.
With just 2 weeks to go, Mr. Trump is trying to take down Biden any way he can, telling crowds Biden will take away their jobs, their guns, that he's mentally unfit and a criminal, even calling on his own attorney general to investigate the Biden family.
Before leaving for Pennsylvania at the White House, President Trump cut short a 60 Minutes interview with Leslie Stahl and tweets that he is considering posting the video shot by a White House crew before the 60 Minutes story airs Sunday night. 60 Minutes says the White House had agreed to record that interview only for its archives, and that the broadcast has a history of interviewing candidates and asking important questions before elections. The story again airs Sunday. COVID hospitalizations are up in nearly 40 states. CBS's Laura Podesta says the fall surge is especially hitting hard in Wisconsin, where cases have tripled.
All 3 of the COVID units at University Hospital in Madison are now full.
I didn't have any COVID patients a couple of weeks ago, and now my whole service is COVID patients.
Dr. Alexandra Wick says COVID patients coming in now have more severe symptoms than those she saw earlier in the pandemic. A new drive-through testing site just opened at the Major League Baseball stadium in Milwaukee.
The friend of mine was tested positive, and I just want to make sure that I'm safe.
COVID-19 did not keep the lines down all over Wisconsin for the first.
Kershaw facing Tampa Bay's Tyler Glasnow is in the 5 o'clock hour. Randy Cardoon, KNX 1070 News Radio.
It's 4:09. The probable cause of last year's deadly dive boat fire off the Santa Barbara coast rests in large part with the vessel's owner. That's according to the NTSB.
The board determined that the failure of Truth Aquatics to provide effective oversight of its vessel and crew operations, including not having a required roving patrol, allowed the fire to grow undetected.
If Truth Aquatics had ensured that a roving patrol was maintained, the fire likely would have been detected earlier, which would have increased the chances of the bunk room occupants safely escaping.
Board Chairman Robert Sumwalt.
The conception was a terrible disaster, one that did not need to happen. It was preventable, and it should have been prevented.
Lack of a U.S. Coast Guard regulatory requirement that there be smoke detectors in all accommodation spaces was also found to have contributed to the tragedy, not to mention that both escape routes led to the same space where the fire likely started. In all, 33 passengers and 1 crew member lost their lives in the fire. Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
We have reached out to Truth Aquatics for comment, but have not heard back. Updating a crash on the 405 in Costa Mesa and more at 4:15. And our Eye in the Sky will be over the 710 between East LA and Linwood. It's 4:11.
All right, we got to talk about your teeth. And you know, if I'm talking to you, loose, missing, damaged, rotten, you don't like it. Other people, they don't like it. And you know that they look even though you try and cover up. So we can stop that. We can end the dental drama with a trip to Cunning Dental. You know where I'm going with this. Permanent teeth in a day. This is what they do. Custom smile made just for you. Gets rid of any and all dental issues all at once while you sleep. Pictures, videos, more on these complete transformations at cunningdental.com. And reminder, use the dental insurance before the end of the year. Use it or lose it. We do not have that much time left. 855-2-CUNNING. They're there right now to answer that phone. 855-2-CUNNING and cunningdental.com.
At Stater Brothers Markets, we believe when it comes to feeding your family, you shouldn't have to pay more for great quality. That's why we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
Now through Tuesday, pick up the club pack size of Stater Brothers Classic Roast Coffee. Get 3 pounds for just $7.99. And try our Wide Awake flavored coffee creamers. Selected 32 fluid ounces are just $1.99.
Stater Brothers Market's family of brands. If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
This is Joe. Joe thinks he's seen it all.
I've seen it all. Gold-encrusted pork chop? Seen it. Cat with a dog tattoo? Seen it.
But when it comes to identity theft, Joe only monitors his credit and bank statements.
Credit fraud? Seen it.
He doesn't realize that with so much of his personal info out there, his identity could be at risk in ways he might never know about, like a new loan in his name or his personal info for sale on the dark web.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
LifeLock helps detect and alerts you to a wide range of identity threats. If there's a problem, a dedicated US-based specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock sees threats you could miss on your own.
Oh, now I see what you mean.
Right now, save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com/radio.
Did you just say 25% off at LifeLock.com/radio?
I did.
Okay, now I've seen everything.
Thinking about life insurance? Did you know in just a few minutes you can find the best price from up to 10 price competitive companies for free? You can with SelectQuote. For example, George is 39. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $22 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. We shop some of the most trusted life insurance companies to save you time and money. Within minutes, you can find the right price for you for free. Go to SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
In the time it takes to say, Ecolab products and protocols are helping to keep this restaurant cleaner. A baby in this restaurant has touched a spoon, a cup, the tabletop, his chair, his mouth, and now, my mouth. Look for the Ecolab Science Certified seal and see a commitment to advancing cleaner, safer practices.
This is Southern California's only 24.
Seriously, who's blowing up my phone? Oh, yeah. Powerball.
This is your big reminder from the California Lottery. The Powerball jackpot is over $75 million. Play now. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years or older to purchase.
Your slow, unreliable internet is making things a drag, my friend. It's time to get Frontier Fiber Optic Internet. With upload speeds up to 25 times faster than cable. And because it's fiber optics, it's more resistant to bad weather. Frontier 500 meg starts at just $39.99 a month plus tax. See the light. Switch to fiber with Frontier Fiber Optic Internet.
Go to frontier.com/yfiber for complete offer details. Service is subject to availability and all applicable terms and conditions.
Starts at the 55, and a crash right about Harbor also affects your 73. So if you're north on that 73, you'll see the backup starting right at the 55 freeway. Let's have a look at your drive on the 710 out of East LA down to Linwood with Scott, the Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
Well, northbound, there's some minor slowing here, starting right around the 105. Not quite to Imperial Highway, but once you cross Imperial Highway, it looks like it's going to be pretty good heading up into the Commerce area. Might get a little slowing right by the 5. Southbound, kind of tough off the 60. That's going to be on and off slow through the 5, through the city of Commerce down to about Florence Avenue before it picks up, Denise.
In Cerritos, we're going to see break 91 East before Pioneer to remove some debris from your right lane. Next report, 425 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
416 at KNX. This time every Tuesday and Friday, we answer your questions about coronavirus, how it spreads, how you can avoid getting it, what you need to know, presented by covidclinic.org. Submit those questions to us, coronaquestions at knx1070.com. With us today, Dr. Michael Hurt, Center for Integrative Medicine in Tarzana.
Dr. Hurt, welcome back. The former head of the FDA is warning we're about a week away from a rapid escalation in infections. Are we?
You know, I'm not seeing that. I'm looking at the curves on a, daily basis. I see the curves, going down. The U.S. counts for the number of infections that we're having is roughly the same over a 7-day period, about 40, 50,000. I think there are concerns in other parts of the country where people cannot go outside now because of inclement weather, where they're going to be inside and perhaps more at risk for contracting COVID in restaurants, bars, gyms, etc. Whereas out here in the West, we still got great sunshine and can be outdoors and protect ourselves that way.
And when we look around the country based on what we've seen, how this has moved, we know it started on the East Coast more, and then it was kind of down south. The Midwest is seeing more of the cases now. We've kind of been a slow, steady burn basically the whole time here in California.
That's right. We initially had some reprieve, I think, because of the travel restrictions from Asia. That sort of gave us a bit of a head start. Unfortunately, though, our patients grew weak. People started, gathering in large groups. People started going back into indoor air quality, which was suspect. If you don't have air scrubbers, you can't clean that air inside a retail shop, restaurant, etc. You're going to have risk of spreading disease. And I think that's what happened, across Europe and certainly across the Midwest, because people relaxed those restrictions without cleaning the air. You're then going to get COVID. There's only two ways to get it. You touch something that someone who had COVID touched, or you breathe air that they exhaled. That's the two ways you get COVID-19.
Well, Doctor, LA County has been in this purple tier forever since the onset of this.
Since the tiers were formed.
Exactly. Yeah. What are we not getting right? What are we doing wrong here?
Yeah, I'm not sure we're doing a lot of things wrong, aside from not educating businesses about air scrubbers, cleaning that air. We've talked about it, for months, and it doesn't seem to be trickling into the consciousness of our, leaders or those who have these small businesses. I'm not sure we're doing anything wrong. And in fact, when I look at LA County data, what do I see? I see numbers going down. I see, the hospital beds occupancy going down. I see the number of infections, generally on the downtrend. We see deaths down. The death rate here in LA is similar to what it was, 5 months ago. So we're doing good here. I think that they may need to, maybe there's someone who's colorblind looking at this, a map and should be letting us go down a few notches, because I think we're doing really well here. As we talked about before as well, the virus may be a little more infectious, and there's some research to back that up. But I'm not seeing, the virulence of it. I'm seeing in my patients much more gentle, moderate infections, and in younger people, which we're also seeing in LA. Some 60+% of the infections now here in the Los Angeles area are in people under the age of 50.
People are making the San Francisco comparisons today because San Francisco now made it into the least restrictive. They're in the yellow, so they get even offices with limitations. They can do church services indoors. They can do indoor dining, whole bunch of things that we cannot do. But, as you said, the math, the formulas they use, there's a whole bunch of things at play. It's not just how many people got it today, how many people are going to get it tomorrow.
That's exactly right. And remember that they have about 800,000 to 900,000 people in San Francisco. We're over 4 million. So there's a lot more people, and that means there's a lot more risk and a lot more exposure that you have living in a big metropolis. New York City, perfect example. Smaller places, smaller towns, smaller cities means less COVID-19 and less risk for getting some kind of infection. So I think LA is doing well by the numbers. I think that the color grade that we're under should change to reflect, how well we are doing as a population. And, please wear your appropriate mask. Wear a mask that really works if you're going to be inside and not able to socially distance. And if you have an establishment, consider getting a air scrubber or really good air filter in order to protect yourself and those around you.
Dr. Michael Hertz, Center for Integrative Medicine in Tarzana. Doctor, thanks.
Thank you.
We answer your coronavirus questions every Tuesday and Friday. At this time tomorrow, going to focus the latest on tech. Let's check your money. Over to Mona Rivera.
Mike and Karen, the three major averages, they rebounded from yesterday's losses. The Dow gained 113 points, 0.4%. The S&P rose nearly 0.5%, and the Nasdaq was up 0.3%. Netflix is warning investors that the gangbusters growth in subscribers that it had in the first half of the year cannot continue. It added fewer subscribers than expected in the third quarter. As a result, Netflix shares are plunging in after-hours trading. Other companies making moves after hours, Texas Instruments and Snap, parent of Snapchat, both higher after positive reports. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Riverside County going backwards, not forward, in the COVID reopening scale. We'll have the details in 90 seconds. It's 4:22.
It's the last time they'll face each other.
It's a political game he's playing.
It's the last chance to get your votes.
Suburban women should love Trump.
It's the final presidential debate.
How do you lose to a guy like this?
Hear it live Thursday night beginning at 6. The final presidential debate.
This is the most important election of our lifetime.
Listen online at radio.com, on your smart speaker, on the radio.com app, and on air at KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
Hey, it's Brian Douglas for SellersAdvantage.com. There's neighbors of ours next block over selling their house. The for sale sign's been out in the front yard for months now. And of course, with the pandemic, I get it. You know, some people are reluctant to when I walk through a stranger's house. And you know what? If you're selling your house, I'd be reluctant as well, wouldn't you? You don't want strangers walking through your house. So I've got an alternative for you. When it comes to selling your home, it's SellersAdvantage.com. I want you to go to the website. I want you to check them out. This is the easy solution for you when it comes to selling your house. No matter what condition it's in, you're going to avoid those expensive fees and commissions and all the hard work that comes along with the traditional sale. And they're going to buy your house as is with a cash offer, in most cases within 24 hours. That means no repairs, no cleaning, no strangers walking through your home, and you get to pick when you want to close. That's a big advantage right there. SellersAdvantage.com. They're professional, experienced home buyers and also happen to be the #1 home buyer right here in Los Angeles. They're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau and have purchased thousands of homes right here in Southern California over the last decade. So call them for a no-obligation free home evaluation today. That's 888-421-AS-IS. 888-421-AS-IS. 888-421-2747. So when it comes to selling your home, no one's more professional, more experienced than SellersAdvantage.com. Go online, check them out, SellersAdvantage.com.
Checking the rough drives in 30 seconds and updating a crash of the 605 in Santa Fe Springs. Plus, our eye in the sky will be over the 105 from LAX to Norwalk. It's 424.
Speaking of tiers and where places are, Riverside County sent back to the purple on the reopening scale. Most restrictive level, places like the theaters, gyms, restaurants, churches have to stop doing things indoors. County's dealing with an increase in positive test rates. County Supervisor Karen Spiegel says this is nailing the coffin shut on some businesses.
Our kids are suffering, our businesses are suffering, and it just is frustrating that we're not doing anything but, yes, Governor, we're going to do this. That's not acceptable. We've got to find a way that we can step forward without hurting people more.
Businesses have 3 days to now follow the purple tier restrictions. County will stay in the purple for at least 3 weeks.
California's new reopening guidelines do not include large theme parks like Disneyland. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. It's 425.
We're brought to you by IntelliLoan. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Denise Fondo.
In Santa Fe Springs on the 605 Drive, if you're headed north just before Telegraph Road, we're getting a report of a crash that is now taking out your 2 and 3 lanes. And I definitely see slow traffic on that northbound side out of Norwalk as you make your way into the Santa Fe Springs area. Another problem coming in for Boyle Heights this time on the 5 northbound. It looks like we're right around Broadway with this one. We've got a 2-car crash, and you know what? It looks like this one is coming in as a hit and run, so they're going to be waiting for CHP. Then on the 10 westbound, a little past Villa Verde, we've got a stalled out car reported there in the right lane. We're going to check out with Scott. He is in the Southern California Toyota dealer Sky 5 over the 105.
105 leaving LAX, a little bit of slowing there eastbound just off the 405 out to about Crenshaw Boulevard. It picks up, slows again right at the 110 out to Linwood area, right around Long Beach Boulevard. Then some more slowing right around Lakewood over toward the 605 westbound. You do have some slowing from Bellflower Boulevard out through Lakewood Boulevard. Picks up and slows again from the 710 out through Long Beach Boulevard. 91 Anaheim Hills, Jam Cam with Brian.
Well, the main line's going to slow up just past Imperial, stay slow through the 241. I know we have a stall in lanes eastbound 91 right at the 15, so we're in Corona. That's just cleared, a little slowing up the 71. The fast track, that's going to be a little bit better, just a little slow from the 55 over to Weir Canyon. Denise.
You asked, how can I save money on a home loan? IntelliLoan offers competitive rates for refinances and purchases and has 25 years experience with over 20,000 loans funded. Certain restrictions apply, so go to IntelliLoan.com for details to learn how they can help you borrow smart. NMLS 3290. Next report, 4:35 with more traffic reports. More often, I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Dropping a little bit more later this week, but 70s and 80s for tomorrow.
The boys in blue are about 30 minutes away from taking the field in Game 1 of the World Series. More in 3 minutes, 4:27.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit, hearing, full stop, making lane change, signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Not available in every state and discount varies. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions underwritten by Farmers Drug and Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
No one likes waiting in long lines, especially during the pandemic. Luckily for LA County voters, you can completely skip the line. How? Vote by mail. All registered voters will be sent a vote-by-mail ballot so you have a safe voting option in the presidential election. Fill it out in the safety of your home and return your completed ballot early. Let's get every vote in. Visit plan.lavote.net for more information.
Court jester. What I want to know is what you think of it. It's a bit of a jumble, the collection of fragments that leap around in time like Mexican jumping beans. Welcome to my mind, old sock.
Him, I get. But what did Marion ever do to deserve this?
It's not her. Not all characters are headliners. Some are secondary.
You pick a fight with Willie, you are finished. Mayor can't save you. Nobody can, especially the boy genius from New York.
I removed any distraction, eliminated every excuse. Your family, your cronies, liquor. I gave you a second chance.
You cannot capture a man's entire life in 2 hours. All you can hope is to leave the impression of one. Wyhurst. Outside his own blonde Betty Boop, you're always his favorite dinner partner. Are you familiar with the parable of the organ grinder's monkey?
This has been an exclusive paid message from Netflix International Pictures.
This is Joe. Joe thinks he's seen it all.
I've seen it all. Gold-encrusted pork chop? Seen it. Cat with a dog tattoo? Seen it.
But when it comes to identity theft, Joe only monitors his credit and bank statements.
Credit fraud? Seen it.
He doesn't realize that with so much of his personal info out there, his identity could be at risk in ways he might never know about, like a new loan in his name or his personal info for sale on the dark web.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
LifeLock helps detect and alerts you to a wide range of identity threats. If there's a problem, a dedicated US-based specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but LifeLock sees threats you could miss on your own.
Oh, now I see what you mean.
Right now, save up to 25% off your first year at LifeLock.com/radio.
Did you just say 25% off at LifeLock.com/radio?
I did.
Okay. Now I've seen everything.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 4:30. In just about 30 minutes, the Dodgers and Rays will take the field in Texas for Game 1 of the World Series. The Dodgers are looking for their first World Series championship since 1988, and the Rays are going for their first ever. Dodger manager Dave Roberts says he thinks his starting lineup is winning one.
To have the balance in the lineup, and then you have, specifically tonight, you have two lefties on the bench, two righties. Those guys over there, they play a lot of matchups, so to kind of play the matchup game with them and counter certainly is beneficial, and you can see that by their position player depth as far as their roster construction. But certainly having the guys that we have that hit left and right, it's pretty nice.
As for tonight's Game 1 starters, the Dodgers are going with Clayton Kershaw, and Rays will send Hart High School alum Tyler Glasnow.
Officially, there's no home field advantage in this World Series, but here's something to make you think twice.
The home of the Texas Rangers is over 1,400 miles away from Dodger Stadium, but when the first pitch is thrown out at that neutral site against the Tampa Bay Rays, the Dodgers will be playing their 14th game there compared to Tampa Bay's first. Dodger outfielder A.J. Pollock.
We're kind of fortunate to be able to play here for as long as we have, because there's a lot of different things that you don't see in many ballparks. You don't know what the wind's doing. It could be 30 miles an hour. And for a defensive player, you just know you got to keep running after, because you never know if you're going to have a chance near the wall there. I think we've done a great job. You saw Belly make some outstanding plays. Mookie's been doing it the whole entire postseason out there.
Pollock is batting .229 this postseason with 8 hits, 4 runs scored. Still looking for his first home run. Game time is at 5. Randy Cardoon, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Disneyland fans could be in it for the long haul. California Health and Human Services Secretary Dr. Mark Ghaly says large theme parks will remain closed until their county has reached the 4th tier of coronavirus monitoring, which is yellow. Right now, Orange County is in the 2nd tier, the red tier. LA still in the most restrictive purple. Even when Disneyland, Universal, and other large theme parks do open, they will face big restrictions on guest capacity. Now, one bright note in today's briefing by Dr. Ghaly involved personal care services.
Today, we're adding things like tattoo parlors, hair removal, and massage businesses. So all of those personal services, as we've categorized them, are now in Tier 1.
Ghaly also outlined how professional sporting events can reopen. If the county where the outdoor stadium is located is in the orange tier, capacity will be limited to 20%. If it's yellow, 25%. And ticket sales will be restricted to people who live within a 120-mile radius of the arena.
Frustrated Anaheim Mayor Harry Sidhu not happy with the state's theme park rules.
This fails the working families and small businesses of Anaheim. As painful as this is, Disney and our city will survive. But too many Anaheim hotels, stores, and restaurants will not survive another year of this.
The mayor says Orange County health officials and Disneyland union officials agree it would be safe to open the park at the orange level.
Disneyland's president, Ken Potrock, released a statement calling the state's guidelines devastating to Southern California communities and the local economy. Potrock says Disneyland is being held to a different standard, despite, he says, its proven record of having reopened its theme parks around the world responsibly.
434 county election officials say they'll continue to investigate, trying to find out who set a fire inside a ballot drop-off box in Baldwin Park over the weekend. They're also taking additional steps to prevent these kind of things or similar incidents from happening, as well as getting to those ballots in those boxes more quickly.
County Registrar Dean Logan said the Baldwin Park drop box will remain in place to make a statement that access by voters to drop off ballots won't be compromised. As a step to prevent any further loss of ballots, more rapid collection of dropped off votes has begun immediately.
The state regulation requires pickup every 96 hours. We're doing that on a daily basis based on the volume and to ensure the security of the elections.
Logan says they've recovered all the ballots from the burned out box. The majority of them are salvageable. For those that are not, they're making every effort to find the person who cast that particular ballot and get them a new one in the next few days. Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The NTSB cast blame for that deadly dive boat fire off Santa Barbara. What it had to say after traffic, it's 4:35.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Denise Fondo.
We've got a new crash in South LA. This is on the 110 southbound right at Manchester, and it's off the main line and on the Manchester off-ramp. Looks like it's a solo car wreck. CHP's not there yet, and they're going to be needing a tow truck on the scene. Again, that's 110 southbound. Looks like your Manchester off-ramp is out of commission. Now let's head to Scott. He's over that crash on the 605 Santa Fe Springs in the Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
Northbound 605 coming up on Telegraph. That crash quickly made it off to the right shoulder, but you do have a backup starting right around the 105, and even north of there's some minor slowing as you leave Santa Fe Springs heading up to the Whittier area. Overall, not too bad, though, north of the 5, getting up toward the 60. Heads up, new injury wreck reported south 605 around Slauson off to the right shoulder. I did see slowing there from Washington Boulevard heading down toward the 5. We do have an issue on the 10, Kellogg Hill, Jam Cam with Brian.
It's actually our westbound side, Via Verde. We've got a stall being pulled out of your right lane now, but wasn't in lanes long enough. There's still a backup here as you come up the hill on the westbound side. Will catch you by surprise, so beware. Eastbound's just plain heavy, 710 through West Covina, then heavy again off that 57 through Pomona. Denise.
Looks like we're going to see a break on the 55. This is in the city of Orange, southbound side. A little bit before we reach the 22, we've got some tire tread reported across the 2 and 3 lanes. Next report at 4:45 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Some clouds lingering, cooler, 70s, 80s. Nice day, though, as we go into tomorrow. Going to be a lot like this, near average. Another drop in the temps later this week, 4:45. 5-day forecast, 74 downtown, 72 Hawthorne, 78 now in Fullerton.
It's 4:37. The NTSB determines the probable cause of last year's dive boat fire that killed 34 people was the failure of the boat owner to provide effective oversight.
In the eyes of NTSB Board Chairman Robert Sumwalt, the Conception dive boat tragedy was preventable. He had this message for its owner-operator, Truth Aquatics.
Clean up your act. Now, the reason I say that is we saw a number of procedural deviations, things that were non-standard, things that they were not following their own procedures. They weren't necessarily following Coast Guard regulations.
For one thing, they did not maintain a roving night patrol. Had they done so, he says,
the fire likely would have been detected earlier, which would have increased the chances of the bunk room occupants safely escaping.
The board also noted that having 2 means of escape that led to the same area impedes the ability to evacuate, and made 2 recommendations to the U.S. Coast Guard to address that issue. They also recommended that Truth Aquatics implement a safety management system for its fleet to improve safety practices and minimize risk. Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Our request for comment from Truth Aquatics has so far gone unanswered.
Some universities in Southern California suing the federal government over its efforts to restrict a certain type of work visa.
They're called H-1B visas. They allow highly skilled workers to temporarily come to the U.S. to help with specialty projects. The goal of the feds is to replace these positions with American citizens.
These rules are unreasonable and misguided and would cut off an important pipeline of talent to higher education institutions, to our businesses.
Miriam Feldblum is the executive director of the President's Alliance on Higher Education and Immigration. USC and Caltech are among the 6 institutions who filed the suit.
Colleges and universities need to hire these individuals, faculty, researchers, in order so that we can carry out and deliver the best kinds of education.
Caltech says they currently use 160 H-1B scientists, engineers, and scholars to help conduct research. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Remember those immigrant children who were separated by the Trump administration at the southern U.S. border? Now the ACLU is saying the federal government cannot locate the parents of more than nearly 550 children, and 2/3 of those parents have been deported to Central America without their kids. The Trump administration instituted a zero-tolerance policy in 2018 that separated migrant children and parents, and the administration later confirmed that it had actually begun separating families in 2017 along some portions of the border under a pilot program.
The husband of L.A. County District Attorney Jackie Lacey has already been charged criminally for allegedly pointing a gun at protesters on his front porch. But now David and Jackie Lacey, they're getting sued as well.
The Black Lives Matter demonstrators insisted they had no choice. They had to go to the Lacey's Granada Hills home last March because the DA refused to meet with them over deadly police shootings.
We were going to bring the meeting to her.
But they say they never expected David Lacey to pull a gun and point it at them.
I was completely shocked in that moment.
The activist attorney, Carl Douglas, blames the DA as well as her husband.
So she, too, is every bit as responsible as if she were holding that gun herself.
The DA claims she's tried to meet with Black Lives protesters in the past, but all they did was scream and yell. And the Lacey's attorney believes the lawsuit is a political stunt with a tough election coming up. The activist attorney responds that it was his call.
I, as the lawyer, made the decision to file this case now.
One activist said when he saw the gun, his life flashed before his eyes. John Baird, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Another check of the roads coming up at 4:45. We'll be updating a crash on the 405 in Carson, and our eye in the sky will be over the 101 Hollywood Freeway. It's 4:41.
If you bought a Two-Town Cider House Hard Apple Cider as a consumer between March 12th, 2016 and October 11th, 2020, you may be eligible for payment from a class action settlement. Visit cidersettlement.com to learn more about which products are affected and how to submit a claim. The deadline to submit a claim is January 9th, 2021. That website again is cidersettlement.com. cidersettlement.com.
Looking for fresh, quality meats? Then stop in and see the experts at Stater Brothers Markets. Our meat cutters can help you with custom cuts, seasoning, and marinating.
This week, fresh USDA choice beef loin, T-bone, and porterhouse steaks are just $5.99 a pound. And boneless top sirloin steaks are only $3.99 a pound. Enjoy with the delicious Cabernet Sauvignon. Selected bottles of Robert Mondavi are just $5.99 when you buy 4 or more.
Visit our website for more great deals. Now through Tuesday at Stater Brothers Markets.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get new car replacement. So if your car is totaled, Farmers will pay to replace it with a new one of the same make and model, like reuniting with an old friend with the added benefit of that new car smell. So it's really new car and new car smell replacement. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Optional coverage not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policy subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers Truck or Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
We have some good news about the upcoming presidential election. Every registered voter in Los Angeles County will be sent a vote-by-mail ballot to ensure you a safe voting option. But first things first, you need to register to vote. Already registered? Then make sure your status is still up to date. Let's get every vote in LA County. Get started at plan.lavote.net.
Amazon is now hiring near you. We're looking for team members who know that delivering important packages is important work. Ready to work hard and make someone's every day? Ready for benefits and flexible shifts? Immediate hourly roles are available at amazon.com/apply. That's amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
444, I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Coming up.
An A grade for California when it comes to a very important part of our environment. This is Chris Edens. Coming up, I'll tell you what that is.
I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera. Wall Street likes GM's commitment to electric vehicles. That story is coming up in 5 minutes.
Dodger fans getting psyched. Game 1 of the World Series about to get underway.
445 now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers, Denise Fondo.
New crash reported on the Ventura Freeway, Woodland Hills, 101 eastbound, right at DeSoto. Right shoulder of the road. Looks like we might have an argument, not a fist fight, but people just yelling at each other. Again, that's 101 eastbound, right at DeSoto. Let's head to Scott. He's looking at the 101, the Hollywood Freeway portion of that in the Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
And we'll start off with northbound. If you're trying to get up to the San Fernando Valley, it's actually kind of tough right now. Loading up just about Sunset Boulevard, and that will continue sluggish up through the Cahuenga Pass toward the 134, 170. And then southbound loads up at the same spot, right at Sunset Boulevard. That's going to be a sluggish ride heading down to and through the 4-level interchange. Some issues, 405 Carson, the Jam Cam with Brian.
It's our southbound side of the 405. It's your Main Street on-ramp. Right at the end of the on-ramp there, we've got a crash. You can see it from the main line, and your main line's going to be slow now. The 405 is tough from Artesia Boulevard. Stays pretty heavy through Carson down to Long Beach to the 710. Then once you're in Long Beach, just a patch of slowing from about Lakewood over to Woodruff. Denise.
Today's your day to save big and drive home a fuel-efficient new Prius because now you can get great deals like low payment leases and special financing. So check out that new Prius with its leading hybrid technology at buyatoyota.com or hurry into your Toyota dealer today. They make it easy. Next report at 4:55 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
The quiet weather pattern continues here in Southern California with the clouds that we saw earlier today. Most of it should be clearing to mostly sunny. Temperatures once again hitting exactly where we should be this time of year. Upper 70s for LA and Orange County Metro, low 70s for the coast, mid 80s for the valleys, upper 80s for the Inland Empire, low 90s for the high deserts, and low 70s for the mountains. As we head into the second half of the week, temperatures continue to cool with the possibility of light rain and drizzle later this week into the weekend. With Southern California's most accurate and dependable forecast, I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Amber Lee for KNX 1070 News Radio.
74 downtown LA, 72 Hawthorne, 78 in Fullerton.
It's 4:47. A new report gives California the highest grade in the nation when it comes to managing its shoreline.
California is actually the only state that received an A grade.
Not bad when you consider the massive population that cozies up to our very long coastline. Jennifer Savage is the California policy manager with the Surfrider Foundation. She says there are reasons why California's coast gets such high marks.
So many areas of our coast still have coastal dunes that are protected. We have areas where there's great wetland restoration, and that's one of the very best things that we can do is just to make sure that those areas stay protected.
Savage says most states along the East Coast and the South don't do nearly the same amount of work that California does when it comes to limiting unnecessary development and reducing human impact along much of its coastline. Chris Sedens, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Southern California looks to be in for a dry and warm winter. National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration says you can blame the moderate La Nina right now.
It interacts with the atmosphere and pushes the typical jet stream that comes further south during the wintertime and brings Pacific storms to California, further north up into the Pacific Northwest. So that's good news for the Pacific Northwest, wetter and colder than normal, but not good news for the southern tier of states where it's drier and warmer.
NOAA drought expert David Miskus tells KNX this could be a big punch for the already dry Southwest. About 45% of the country right now in drought, highest level in more than 7 years.
The state has dropped Riverside County back to the most restrictive purple tier under its coronavirus reopening guidelines. The move means that restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, churches can no longer have limited indoor operations. And County Supervisor Karen Spiegel says she's mad and frustrated.
We're going to be putting a nail in the coffin now on more businesses. We are beyond the ability to say it's all about science. And the problem is when we close, we can't open it back up and say Riverside County go because we never closed in the first place. It's all done by the governor.
Spiegel says there has to be a middle ground that lets businesses reopen while also protecting people. The county moved from the red to the purple tier because of an increase in positive test rates. Businesses now have 3 days to change their operations to comply with purple tier status.
Different ways to stay up to date. Stream us on the radio.com app on your phone, KNX1070.com. You can listen there or working from home, ask your smart speaker to play us. Just say play KNX 1070, 450. Let's check your money. Here's Mona Rivera.
Mike and Karen, optimism about progress on stimulus helped push stocks higher. The Dow rose 113 points, 0.4%. The S&P added nearly 0.5%. The Nasdaq was up 0.3%. General Motors, a big winner today, up close to 7% on its huge investment in electric vehicles. GM is spending more than $2 billion on 6 plants to build them. GM's lineup will include the Hummer electric vehicle and the first fully electric Cadillac, the Lyriq, a crossover sport utility. Shares of AMC, the world's largest movie theater chain, plunged 12% after a warning of possible bankruptcy. Comfy clothes have become big business in the pandemic, and now Lululemon is getting a run for its money from Kohl's, which is coming out with its own line of comfy clothing called Flix. Kohl's jumped more than 6%. Lululemon dropped nearly 2%. We check your money at 20 and 50 after each hour. I'm Bloomberg's Mona Rivera from the HMS Capital Money Desk, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Hundreds of thousands of students in California were homeless last year. More on this concerning study in 90 seconds. It's 4:51.
How easy is it to get your news when you want?
We are there for you on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and you can take us with you wherever you go.
Just ask your smart speaker to play KNX 1070 News Radio.
Hey, Alexa.
You'll get updates on the top stories, traffic on the 5s,
A while until we see those lanes
and
reopen.
breaking news when it happens. Stay connected to KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
It's me, your personal info. Remember when I was only in a few places?
Like your wallet,
Your computer.
or a safe deposit box.
Well, now I'm practically everywhere. On all your devices. Where you browse, shop,
and bank online.
Anywhere you log in.
Your info is out there.
And what you do online can leave you vulnerable to cybercriminals. More threats demand more protection. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company. Norton 360 with LifeLock provides all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you device security, identity theft protection, a VPN for online privacy, and more. No one can prevent all cybercrime and identity theft, but Norton 360 with LifeLock is your ally in today's connected world, even if your info is on vacation. Sign up today for Norton 360 with LifeLock and save 25% or more off your first year by going to norton.com/radio. That's norton.com/radio for 25% off.
Mike here for Cunning Dental. Years I've been talking about them. The reason, they're just the best at what they do. 50 years they've been in business, pioneers of sleep dentistry. So if you've got some anxiety over the dentist, or you're just not a fan of dentists, and that's why you haven't gone in a long time, and that's maybe why your teeth have gotten to the point that they're at right now, you can get to Cunning and they'll fix it for you, and they'll do it fast while you sleep. Gentle sleep, full anesthesia. Either way, it doesn't get more comfortable than that. You hop in the chair, you fall asleep, you wake up, you leave with nice teeth. They can take care of anything you need, even repair years of neglect in just one visit. Free sedation right now for new patients on most treatments over a $1,000 value. So now is the time. Also, use the dental insurance before the end of the year. Use it or lose it. 855-2-CUNNING. 855-2-CUNNING. 855-2-CUNNING.
A crash on the 105 in South LA causing delays. We're checking it and more in 2 minutes. And our eye in the sky will be over the 101 from Woodland Hills to South LA. It's 4:53.
UCLA researchers find homelessness a growing problem among California students.
It's gone up by close to 50% over the past decade, and researchers say the pandemic has likely made the problem worse. The report from the UCLA Center for the Transformation of Schools says nearly 270,000 kindergarten through 12th grade students, or more than 4%, experienced homelessness during the 2018-19 school year. Latino and Black students were the hardest hit.
We have to do better. We must do better.
Tyrone Howard is the center's faculty director.
The fact that we're talking about over 250,000 young people in the state who are experiencing homelessness is unacceptable.
The report also finds about 20% of community college students experienced homelessness during the 2018-19 school year, as did about 10% of CSU students and 5% of UC students. Claudia Pescuta, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Governor Newsom's home in Northern California was the site of a protest today by people from the Porter Ranch area, calling on him to close the Aliso Canyon gas storage facility. They say they want him to fulfill his promise to shut it down. They also say they're still getting sick. Alexandra Nagy with the environmental group Food and Water Action tells KNX, even before the blowout in 2015, people reported smelling gas and getting headaches and nosebleeds.
So this is no different than what people were experiencing before, but once you add just the tremendous impacts of an unprecedented release of methane and toxins for 4 months, it severely weakens the health of the nearby residents, so they're even more vulnerable now than they were before.
She says SoCal Gas has testified the facility averages about 2 leaks a day. Fans are blue with Dodger fever. It's almost game time for the World Series. We'll have more at 5:03 after CBS News. It's 4:55.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s, brought to you by Amtrak. Here's Denise Fondo.
New problem reported on the 60, and this is on the eastbound side in Industry, a little bit before Crossroads Parkway. Looks like you've got something blocking a lane, which means we're going to see a break in traffic. It's some debris, and it's out in the number 2 lane. I'm sure a lot of people have already hit it, and looks like it might just be a bucket. On the 405 West LA, southbound side, coming up on Santa Monica Boulevard, We've got a pickup truck that is stuck in one of the lanes. So again, another break in traffic expected. Let's head to the San Fernando Valley, get a check of the 101 from Scott in the Southern California Toyota dealers. Sky 5.
Looked at the Woodland Hills area where we did have a crash, 101 eastbound around DeSoto. Apparently the people were off to the right shoulder in an argument, and I guess they got everything resolved because they're not there anymore. You do have a little slowing from Winnetka out through about Tampa, and then it gets tougher right at the 405 heading out into Studio City. 101 westbound, that's a sluggish ride starting at Woodman Avenue out through the 405. Once you cross Balboa, it will pick up into Woodland Hills. 105 South LA, the Jam Cam with Brian.
Now, if you're eastbound, you're transitioning to the North 110. We've got a crash. It looks like at times a two-car crash could be blocking that entire transition road. So that's going to slow things up on the main line. Already tough 405 to Crenshaw. Then from the 110, reduce speeds from that point to the 605. Denise.
Take your personal space to go with Amtrak's private roomette. Spacious seating by day converts to comfortable sleeping arrangements by night. And you have access to a private restroom and a shower in your car. You even get a dedicated sleeping car attendant and complimentary dining. Learn more at Amtrak.com. Next report, 5:05 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Cloudy, sunshine in a lot of spots today, or just clouds lingering, especially by the coast. As we go into tomorrow, it's going to look a lot like today. 70s and 80s, mix of sun and clouds. We drop some more later on this week. Couple more days till we get there.
The Clippers have a new head coach, and Disneyland and other theme parks in California will remain closed a little while longer. We'll have more in minutes. It's 4:57.
With McDelivery, ordering the family favorites is easy. Choosing which to eat first, not as easy. Right now, get a Big Mac bundle with 2 Big Mac sandwiches, 2 medium fries, and a 20-piece chicken McNuggets for $16. Or try the 40-piece McNuggets bundle with 2 large fries for $16. Either way, dig in with McDonald's. Available on Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Postmates. Price and participation may vary. Delivery prices may be higher than at restaurants. Delivery fee, service, and/or small order fee may apply. See app for availability.
At Stater Brothers Markets, we believe when it comes to feeding your family, you shouldn't have to pay more for great quality. That's why we say, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
Now through Tuesday, pick up the club pack size of Stater Brothers Classic Roast Coffee. Get 3 pounds for just $7.99. And try our Wide Awake flavored coffee creamers. Selected 32 fluid ounces are just $1.99.
Stater Brothers Markets, family of brands. If you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference?
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
There's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. So much, I'm going to have to speed things up. You can get the Farmers Signal app, and that could get you up to 15% off your auto policy. That's just for using the app and driving like the normal speed limit adhering, full stop making, lane change signaling human being you are. Get a whole lot of something with Farmers Policy Perks. Start with a quote by calling 1-800-FARMERS.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now for the legal something.
Not available in every state and discount varies. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions underwritten by Farmers Drug and Fire Insurance Exchanges or affiliate.
Live from the Intellalone Borrow Smart Studios, Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station. KNX, KRTH FM HD2, Los Angeles. KNX 1070 News Radio. Depend on us.
Coming up, some Dodger fans make it to Arlington, Texas to watch Game 1 of the World Series.
And it'll be Kershaw on the mound when the game gets underway in just a few minutes.
State says yes, some businesses can reopen. No, not theme parks. Traffic every 10 minutes on the 5s. After CBS News, it's 5 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Wendy Gillette from the Maldives. Early in-person voting just started today in Wisconsin, and the lines are long. Bruce Marcus reports from Rhinelander.
Many local clerks throughout the Badger State reported long lines of early voters when the doors opened.
We've had a great mix of people. There's been a lot of older people. We also have had some younger ones.
Val Foley serves as city clerk in Rhinelander. This woman was one of the first voters in line.
I just feel it's important to get it done
done and out of the way. No mail-in voting for me.
Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
President Trump arrived in Erie, Pennsylvania about a half hour ago without his wife. CBS's Stephen Portnoy explains why she stayed behind.
The First Lady was to have joined the president at a rally in Erie, Pennsylvania for her first public appearance since coming down with COVID. But her chief of staff says Mrs. Trump still has a lingering cough and, out of an abundance of caution, will not make the trip.
The U.S. is close to extending the START arms control pact with Russia for another year. CBS News military consultant Jeff McCausland.
The Trump administration had withdrawn from the 1987 Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty that placed limitations on intermediate nuclear systems, as well as the Open Skies Treaty. As a consequence, the new START agreement is the last major remaining nuclear arms control agreement between the United States and the Russian Federation.
Still no compromise in sight in Congress for a second coronavirus relief bill. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer accuses Republicans of stonewalling efforts to reach a deal.
We don't want to leave anyone behind, period. Because you do one thing, what about everybody else? Some Republicans may say, I did that and I don't have to do anything else. We can't do that as a country, not as a party, but as a country.
It's a World Series unlike any other. Many Americans didn't think it would even happen in 2020.
This is Steve Futterman at the World Series. When the Major League season began in late July, league officials were simply hoping they would get this far. There were lots of bumps on the road early on, players testing positive, but tonight the World Series begins. Just like the regular season, the World Series will be different. All the games are being played at a neutral site here in Arlington, Texas, and while there will be fans, only 11,000 are being allowed to attend.
It was a history-making mission for NASA.
Down declared.
All right.
Sampling is in progress.
A small spacecraft descended to the surface of the asteroid Bennu to collect samples. They'll be returned to Earth in September 2023.
These days, better nutrition and stronger immunity are essential. That's why Eggland's Best gives you and your family more, so we can all be at our very best. Only Eggland's Best.
This is Southern California's only 24-hour local news and traffic station, KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Mike Simpson.
And I'm Karen Adams. Our top local story at 5:03. Now you can get an indoor tattoo, but you can't go to Knott's Berry Farm.
New guidelines announced today by Dr. Mark Galley, Secretary of Health and Human Services.
You'll remember we started out with hair salons, barber shops open in Tier 1. We later added nail salons, and today we're adding things like tattoo parlors, hair removal, and massage businesses.
Large theme parks will not be allowed to reopen until the county they're in is in the yellow, least restrictive tier. But professional sports can start having some fans in the seats in the orange tier.
Ticket sales will have some restrictions as well for customers within a 120-mile radius to limit the amount of potential mixing and certainly discouraging out-of-state travel or faraway travel for multiple days in order to enjoy a sporting event.
Since a large swath of Southern California is in the purple, the state is now sending down strike teams to try and curb the spread of COVID. Emily Valdez, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Mayor of Anaheim, Harry Sidhu, really not happy, frustrated with the theme park guidelines.
County public health official and the unions of the Disneyland Resort agree and support the reopening of the theme parks in Orange counties next year. Orange Tier 3. Anything beyond that will destroy jobs in our city and devastate working families.
Mayor says this shouldn't be a choice between public health and the economy.
The head of the Disneyland Resort says the state is ignoring the signs by keeping the theme park closed for the foreseeable future. Resort President Ken Potrock issued a statement saying Disney has proven that its parks can safely reopen by enforcing health and safety protocols. He says instead of working together with resort operators, California officials have mandated arbitrary guidelines that they know are unworkable. Potrock says together with their labor unions, they want to get back to work, but he says the state's action will inevitably lead to more people in the Anaheim area losing their jobs. And it's all about the Dodgers coming up after traffic. World Series time, it's 5:05.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 5s. Denise Fondo.
We've got a pursuit happening right now, which exited the 60 westbound in Industry and is on the surface streets Last report, Proctor near 6th. It was on 7th southbound at Proctor for a while. The want on this person, shoplifting. So that's what's happening with your pursuit in the city of Industry. Now let's go to Scott Bird. He's over the 405 with a check between LA West Side and the San Fernando Valley. Southern California Toyota dealers, Sky 5.
Well, heads up on the South 405 between Santa Monica Boulevard and the 10. Looks like they're trying to clear a stalled car right now. It's kind of cloudy for us down there. It's already moving in with the marine layer, but just heads up, they had some lanes blocked as they were hooking up with a tow truck there. North 405, definitely a tough ride through the Sepulveda Pass. It's going to be sluggish through the San Fernando Valley, all the way up to about Nordoff. You get a little improvement and slows again right around Rinaldi as you head up toward the 5. We do have some issues on the 105 in South LA. The Jam Cam with Brian.
We'll start with this crash that cleared East 105 to the North 110. That transition road, everything's to the right shoulder, so you're in the clear there. But up ahead on the 105 eastbound Long Beach Boulevard, we've got somebody with a flat tire, and apparently the entire family's out there changing that tire in the carpool lane, just heading to delays now from the 110 as you make you over towards that 710. Denise.
In Montebello on the 60 eastbound coming up on Paramount. It looks like we've got some debris in the number 1 lane. And problem Studio City, 101 eastbound. This is just before Laurel Canyon. Crash coming in. We've got 2 cars there, the right shoulder of the road. Next report at 5:15 with more traffic reports more often. I'm Denise Fondo in the SDCCU 24-hour traffic center, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Nice day today, near average 70s, 80s, although a lot of clouds hanging around, filtered sunshine for a lot of spots. Some continued cooling as we move through the week. So later on this week, we'll get there. 5-day forecast, 5:15, 73 downtown LA, 75 Fullerton, Riverside. It's 82.
It's 5:07. World Series Game 1 getting underway. KNX 1070's Andrew Greenstein is in Arlington, Texas.
The Dodgers, of course, are in the World Series for the 3rd time in the last 4 years, but despite their 8-year regular season dominance, they have yet to have a World Series title to show for it. These Dodgers fans are confident, though, that this time they're going to do it.
I am very confident. 3rd time's a charm.
They have all the pieces. They should be able to pull it off.
All 7 games will be here at Globe Life Field, and based on their regular season record, the Dodgers will be the designated home team for games 1, 2, 6, and 7. At Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, Andrew Greenstein, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Kershaw starting for the Dodgers as they take on the Rays. MVP Cody Bellinger will be in center field even after he dislocated his shoulder by the very aggressive shoulder bump with Kike Hernandez celebrating the home run on Sunday. Dave Roberts was asked whether he had a talk with the team about excessive celebrating.
I wish I would have had that talk before he did the forearm bump with Kike, but I think that after hearing that or seeing that, I think it's pretty well noted.
Both the Dodgers and the Rays had the best regular season records in their leagues. Best of 7, game 1 just getting underway.
Turning to basketball, the Clippers have a new head coach. Widely rumored and now confirmed, Ty Lue will take over for Doc Rivers, who coached the Clippers for the last 7 seasons. Lue previously coached the Cleveland Cavaliers, reaching the NBA Finals 3 times and winning a championship in 2016. Now, the Clippers president of basketball operations, Lawrence Frank, said in a statement, Ty has been where we want to go. He is a championship head coach with an extraordinary feel for the game and the people who play it.
Again, a pursuit that we were telling you about, a shoplifting one for stealing from a Home Depot. Got out at a gas station, Valley and San Angelo, ran inside that Chevron there. So look for police activity in that area. We'll keep updating you. It's 5:09.
The NTSB says the failure of the owner of a dive boat to provide effective oversight is the probable cause of last year's deadly fire off the Santa Barbara coast.
Not only did Truth Aquatics not maintain a roving patrol that likely could have detected the fire that erupted on its boat Conception earlier and increased the chances of escape.
Having 2 means of escape, which with both exited into the same area of the vessel, that certainly impedes the ability to evacuate.
That's National Transportation Safety Board Chairman Robert Sumwalt. He says they did make recommendations for the U.S. Coast Guard to require that all small passenger vessels with overnight accommodations provide a secondary means of escape into a different area so any potential fire won't affect both paths.
We hope that our actions from today will prevent such disasters in the future.
Investigators found that the use of alcohol or drugs for which Conception's deck crew was tested was not a factor. It's believed the fire originated in an area where numerous electrical devices were charging, although a definitive ignition source was not determined. Margaret Carrero, KNX 1070 News Radio.
So this pursuit suspect was at the gas station, the Chevron there, San Angelo and Valley. Got into some kind of argument with a guy in a work truck next door, threw something in the back of the truck, then got in the car, is back on the road now, westbound on Valley, coming up on the 605. So that's the update for the pursuit. We'll have a traffic report in minutes as well. It's 5:11.
Will this election be your first time voting? We're excited for you. Los Angeles County has made it easy for you to get started online. Visit plan.lavote.net to register or to check your registration status so that you can organize your plan to vote. Stay safe by voting by mail and be a part of getting every vote in.
It's me, your personal info. Remember when I was only in a few places?
Like your wallet.
Your computer. Or a safe deposit box. Well, now I'm practically everywhere. On all your devices. Where you browse, shop,
and bank online.
Anywhere you log in.
Your info is out there.
And what you do online can leave you vulnerable to cybercriminals. More threats demand more protection. That's why Norton and LifeLock are now part of one company. Norton 360 with LifeLock provides all-in-one membership for your cyber safety that gives you device security,